There are deep problems between the US and Qatari relationship, but you wouldn't know it from this visit by the White House. Emir Thani really saying that the business relationship, and putting a big emphasis on that, is really strong, saying Qatar has about $185 billion worth of orders and investments here in the United States. There was a signing ceremony overlooked by the two leaders and their representatives, big purchases of US airplanes like Gulfstreams and Boeings and other contracts signed, at least for show, not necessarily deals done today. And that, of course, pleases the US president because there's a US trade surplus with Doha. Let's take a listen.
We're doing a lot of work now. They're investing very heavily in our country. They're creating a lot of jobs. They're buying tremendous amounts of military equipment, including planes, and they're buying commercial planes, as you know, very large numbers of commercial planes from Boeing, and we very much appreciate it.
But beneath the surface, deep tensions, as you know, back in May 2017, the US chief ally in the region, Saudi Arabia, started a blockade of Qatar, along with other Gulf states and others. That continues in some form and another to this day. The US actually originally sort of sided with Riyadh, but then realizing that it has 10,000 troops based in Qatar and a big air base, kind of tried to play the mediator, but it hasn't worked. Qataris, of course, because they share the biggest natural gas field in the world with the Iranians and have other links, they are much closer to Iran than Saudi Arabia. This, of course, also increasing tensions. The thing is, though, that Qatar could play the role of middleman a little bit in these rising tensions between Iran and the US over the US pullout of the Iran nuclear deal, the sanctions, and Iranian increased enrichment. We'll wait and see how much of a role Qatar can or is playing. But there are other differences too over Syria, Libya, for example, where Qataris really backed the UN-backed government in Tripoli. The US has signaled that it may be siding with the warlord that is currently sieging Tripoli at some stage. So there's questions about that as well. So that there is a lot beneath the surface in this, but Qatar is a huge investor in the United States, especially in real estate, and that's Donald Trump's real passion as well. But there are differences, especially when it comes to tackling Iran, the threat of terrorism, and in fact, the Emir himself warned about allies that weren't really allies, a sort of reference to Saudi Arabia in a dinner that was hosted in his honor here on Monday night. Nathan King, CGTN, at the White House.